Hello and welcome. This is the Entrepreneur Wilderness Radio Show, and I'm your host, Oyeno Adobada. And my guest today is Chris Miles, known as the Cash Flow Expert. And I'm just going to go straight into his biography. He is the leading authority on how to quickly create cash flow and lasting wealth for thousands of his clients, entrepreneurs, and others internationally. He has been featured on the cover of Palacio magazine, is the podcast co-host of FireYourFinancialAdvisor.com, and has a high reputation for getting his clients life-altering financial results in his company, Money Ripples. After working as a traditional financial advisor and stock coach for several years, Chris came to a stark realization that the financial advising industry was not showing anyone how to quickly and safely become financially prosperous. After leaving that industry, Chris has since worked to teach his effective, unique strategies while exposing the popular myths around money that have kept so many from enjoying financial freedom and peace of mind. Chris consistently practices and teaches his small businesses owners how to do what no other financial advisors can or will achieve financial prosperity. Now in the future, spending time doing what they love most. Welcome, Chris Miles.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on.
Thank you. So, what's in your mind? What's the main topic that you want to express to my audience?
Yeah, just like you mentioned, I mean, I'm the cash flow expert, and so, I really want to focus around things that generate income, that generate more cash flow in your life. And one topic I think that's a myth that many people have been buying into is that they believe that if you just have if you have a lot of purpose and passion, if you just do what you love, then the money will follow, is oftentimes what you'll hear people say.
Yeah.
And I'm just going to tell you that's a bunch of bull. That's so not true. To do what you love and the money will follow. I mean, how many people just love to sit around on a beach and do nothing all day and then just expect that checks will come in, right?
It's impossible.
That's right. And that's why I tell people that, a big title I put on this show specifically is so much passion, so much purpose, so what? Who cares? Nobody cares about your passion or purpose when it comes to when it comes to you or it comes to other people.
That's right.
All they care about is how you're going to help them get what they want. And if you help them get what they want, then you'll get what you want, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And so, now, please don't misunderstand me when I say this, when I'm talking about passion and purpose. It's absolutely necessary to have in your business, especially. And even if you work as a normal employee, it's still absolutely necessary if you want to become successful in your profession. But what I see happen so often is that you get, especially here in the United States, there's a lot of entrepreneurial spirit here. I mean, there's a lot of people here that are very entrepreneurial, and a lot of them want to do what they love. And that's great, because I believe everybody should be doing what they love. But I think many of us would agree that just doing what you love only does not necessarily mean that you're going to be able to pay the bills. Because the last time I saw, the banker or the MasterCard or Visa, they could care less about paying off their bills with your passion or purpose, right?
Exactly.
They want money, and they want lots of money, and that's the big point here, is that you can be. I know a lot of passionate, broke people, very poor people that are very passionate about what they do, but they don't have the money to follow it.
That's right.
And so, what I really want to do is debunk that myth, and then be able to help people be able to get beyond it by finding ways to create what I call our cash flow generators. Okay. You can start generating cash flow in 90 days or less.
Right.
So yeah, let's just go ahead and kind of dive into passion and purpose a little bit more, because it is an essential element to how this all comes to be. Because I really believe that there's millions of ways to make millions.
That's a good way to put it.
I mean, there's so many ways we can get wealthy. and get rich, right? But obviously we want to get rich the right way.
Exactly, with less risk.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, go on.
I was saying, yeah, I mean, definitely we want to make sure we get rich the right way. We want to get rich where we're serving and helping people. And see, the key principle you have to understand is that dollars follow the value that you create for other people. Dollars will only follow, or pounds, or lira, depending on where you're listening to this show, right? Money follows the value that you provide for other people. And it's not about what you think is valuable, it's what they believe is valuable. So for example, I had a person who really wanted families to get back to the core essence, right? He had a huge passion for pastimes, things where he wanted to have those kids, playing around the Christmas tree with the train set. And the one thing he really didn't like is he didn't like how a lot of people were just sitting around the TV instead, watching movies or playing video games. And so he had this really big passion. It was very commendable. And and he really wanted people to really buy these model train sets and things of that nature. There was only just one problem. Nobody cared. A lot of people, what they wanted, they said, that's a great idea, but I love my Wii. I love my PlayStation. I can have just as much fun playing with my kids with a video game, and even do it actively, where we're getting, having a little workout, doing a dance off or whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that was the key fundamental problem. And I had to kind of get in his face a little bit as I was coaching him, saying, that's a great idea, a great passion, but you know what? That's probably not something you should monetize. And in fact, you'll probably find it impossible to monetize.
Yeah.
Or very, very, very difficult to provide any sort of prosperity. And he almost, despite my advice, almost opened up a new store, went into partner with two other guys, where they were going to have him put up all the money and all the work. And finally he got to the point where he remembered the words that I taught him, and he said, okay, no, that's not a good idea, forget it. And he didn't do it. And for him, he said, hey, that saved me $30,000. That was a big, big deal. And that was kind of the point, is that it's got to be something that people see as valuable. And so when you're looking to find a way to earn more money, you've got to remember that you got to get to the cause of the effect of money. Money is the effect. Providing value or adding value to people's lives are the cause.
I think that's a key point.
So as you add more value, you can earn more money. And the more value you add for more people, the more financially prosperous you become.
And I think that's what, sorry to cut you, but I think when people start out on their journey, they kind of miss that point, that in order for them to get something, they have to, give first before they take.
Always. It's a law of the harvest. You sow what you reap, right? And that's the exact point I'm making here, is that you cannot expect to get something for nothing. And even then, even just the perspective, the mindset of believing that all you have to do is just try to ask yourself, how do I make more money? That's the wrong question to ask. That's asking for the result. And it's not a bad question, but you can't stop there. You got to go down to the fundamental core, the cause of money, which is, how do I provide more value that the inevitable effect is money?
Yeah.
And that's the real key there. And that goes with anything, any profession you have, any business that you run. That's got to be the fundamental question. It's always about how you serve other people, or how you solve problems for them, is why they want to exchange dollars for you. Because the last I checked, I've never received any amount of money unless it came from somebody else's checking account.
Right. Okay.
Money just doesn't appear out of thin air. No. And that's what most people kind of believe. They almost think it's like this mysterious thing. That's so formulaic. It's so predictable. That if you just focus on, how do I provide more value, so that the people see the value, that they say, you know what, it's so valuable in my life that I'm better off having this person in my life than not having them. And therefore I'm willing to exchange X amount of currency or dollars or pounds or lira, right? And so that's the key focus. And so once I got that, and once I really focused on, how do I find that win-win for people? How do I find something that provides value for them? And just kind of tell you my story, when I started out as a financial advisor, I didn't think that way.
Okay.
I thought that it took money to make money, right? Another myth that a lot of people buy into. I thought you had to have a lot of money.
Yeah.
And so working as a financial advisor, trying to help people with their plans, teaching them stuff that hasn't worked for decades, where there's a lot of broke people out there following that kind of advice.
Yeah.
But I hope that by having enough clients that have enough residual income coming in, that I could retire myself. And I came to a rude awakening. I realized that when I looked at the most successful people, especially those you look at the most successful people in the world, like those on the Forbes list, right?
Yeah.
The wealthiest people in the world, the one thing they all have in common is they have a business, and that their business solves, provides a need or solves a problem or somehow provides value for other people.
Right.
And the more people they provide value for, the more money they make, typically. There's a reason why Bill Gates and Warren Buffett and even Carlos Slim, who had even topped the other two as being one of the wealthiest people in the world. Carlos Slim, being in Mexico, of all places, with a telecommunications company, was able to dethrone Bill Gates and Warren Buffett for a time.
Wow.
And I remember seeing an interview he did on Larry King Live in the United States, and they asked him, several questions about his success after he got on the top of the list. And it's interesting that what he said. He said, my whole focus has just been how do I provide a valuable service for other people. Period.
And I think.
Yeah, go ahead.
I think that when people hear the word service, they almost recoil and they think, I'm not in the business to serve anybody. I want to make money. And you think that is so antiquated because that's what you're doing. You're in the business to serve something, a product or a service, whatever it be, or it might be even both. But that's what primarily it is. And I hear this a lot. I'm not into this to do service. I'm here to make money. I'm thinking that it's just so back to front.
You're absolutely right. It's reverse order, isn't it?
Yeah. And
then what you're going to meet if you have that type of understanding and get it. I understand because as a financial planner, I was thinking that way too.
Mm-hmm.
At the same time, I wanted to help people, but I really wanted to help me and my family, right?
Yeah.
Naturally. And I don't think that's a bad thing, but it's only bad when you live in a scarce world where you believe it's a zero-sum game that somehow you have to take from other people in order to receive.
Yeah.
It's that finite pie type mentality, right? That if I don't get my piece of the pie, somebody else will.
Right.
And then there's a reverse order. A lot of the people that are also broke, on the flip side, they might say, well, if I'm to be a benevolent person, I've got to be broke. So I'm going to let other people take the pie and I'll starve.
Yeah, spiritualist and all that. But
exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And that's where people have to realize that the pie can grow as we exchange with one another.
Exactly.
Key concept I learned was is the rate of exchange. How fast we exchange money is how wealthy everyone becomes.
That's quite interesting.
If you look at go ahead, sorry.
No, I said that's quite interesting. Now go ahead.
Yeah, if you look at some of the hardest economic times people run into, it's been the times when people, out of fear, hold on to their money with an iron grasp. They clench to that money. They don't let it go. Now, think of the consequence when you do that. When you're not willing to exchange money with other people, for example, if you're not willing to go out and pay for a product or pay for a service, well, those people don't get paid.
Exactly.
Well, when they don't get paid, they're not able to buy as much from the stores. Well, when they don't buy so much from the stores or from businesses, those people, therefore, don't get paid. The employees can't get paid, right? Because the store's not profitable. Therefore, the employees work for the stores don't get paid either. If they don't get paid, they can't pay other people in other businesses.
And then a domino effect carries. Yeah.
Yeah, it's cash flow, right? It's that rate of exchange. I mean, economics can be really just that simple. As you cut off the blood supply, you cut off the flow of money.
That's it.
And people will die.
That's it. Exactly.
Financially speaking. And so the way to cure that is get people to exchange more money. Now, not just for the sake of just blowing money. I don't mean that, but I really believe that today's day and age, especially as the world's become a little bit more turbulent lately, more and more people are looking for value. They're looking for saying, hey, I don't care about how wealthy you get. I want to know that whatever you're offering me is of value to me, that it's worth me paying you that money. So when I hear people say, oh, it's so hard to make money because of the economy or whatever else going on, I laugh.
Yeah.
I say no. I'm like, people just, and during good times, people might spend money frivolously and kind of being a little bit ridiculous about it, right?
Yeah.
But when times get a little hard, people actually start to wise up. And they say, you know what, I'm willing to spend money. It's still there. Money hasn't disappeared. But I'm looking for value. And the cool thing is, if we all look from that standpoint of, hey, how do we provide more value for people? People want to exchange more money. And what happens is, as we all start to exchange more money,